Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and assorted people of the internet. I am James Phoenix, and this is another fantastic episode of our hit radio roleplay, Disney Heroes, right here on Pez of the Mind.
Sponsored by Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that can happen?
Sure, why not? Moving along. I don't know. So as you can hear, of course, with me is my co-creator, Chris the Mole.
Thank you. I am your father.
No.
You just said I co-created you.
I said you co-created the radio play with me. I'm not justifying your stupid comments. Moving on.
You can go away now. You're in a coma.
Yeah, Chris the Mole will not be appearing on voice in the episode. He's just here to listen in and give commentary at the end. And joining me, of course, are regular cast members. The best one, Richter Hammer.
Hello. I was really hoping when he said he was your father, you'd go, "No, that's not true. That's impossible."
I didn't think that fast. And the other one, Marcus Shadow.
Aye.
Wow, Marcus got applause. I'm impressed.
He did. It's because I didn't get to applause you, Jim. So I was like, oh, it's normally 2 applause and a boo. I don't like to ruin my routine.
Fair enough.
And James Phoenix.
That's not even a boo. That's a laugh.
They're saying, boo.
No, they're not.
And dead.
Okay then.
He's method acting.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So is he Jared Molto now?
Okay then. But yes, this first a bit of an announcement. Originally, this radio play was going to run for 16 episodes. We have Chris the Mole and I made the joint decision to cut it down to 15 episodes so that we can end it right at the end of August, rather than it spilling into September. So this is episode 13 for those of you keeping score at home. And so there will be 2 more episodes following this, leading into the finale, which will be episode 15. So stay tuned for all that. But in the meantime, let's kick off things going a little crazy. Him. Per usual, our scene opens in the team headquarters on Discovery Island. The team is, per usual, having a general discussion about the goings-on of late, and Noah begins positing a theory regarding, well, some of the villains that they have fought over the course of their adventures thus far. So, I've been thinking about this, and I'm starting to wonder. It seems unusual the way a lot of these villains are attacking us, because some of them are very obviously working for Jafar and they're in Scar, but it also seems like some of them are operating of their own accord, or at least of their own accord because Jafar and Scar are allowing them to. For example, when we fought Hades, Jafar showed up and tried to zap Hades' power when it looked like he was, causing too much trouble, so it seemed like Hades was kind of being given his own leash. I mean, Jafar was there, but it seemed like he was kind of on his own. Same thing, it seemed like Zero, when we fought her, she was being used by Jafar and Scar. She wasn't even, basically she was being used. She wasn't even fully aware of their plans. And it seemed like some of the others, such as, well, for example, Yokai showed up. I'm not sure if he was totally related. Radcliffe and his troops attacking us, that could have been a ploy by Scar, but it's hard to say. I'm almost wondering if all the villains are on the same side, because it seems like a lot of them are basically acting of their own accord, and if they are embodying the personalities of the hosts that they claim to be, that's a lot of egos to maintain. So it surprises me that more of them haven't tried to turn on Scar by now, unless he's really that powerful.
Yeah, I'm
Jeff
not
looked
sure if some of them are, if they're actually working with them, or kind of like you said, maybe Jafar and Scar know what they're dealing with and just kind of aim them in our direction rather than actually work with them.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's. But the question is, which of those things is worse? The ones who knowingly work for Jafar and Scar, or the ones who aren't even aware?
Jeff looks up from being deep in thought, his right hand on his chin. You know, what you just posited there, Noah, that kind of terrifies me, because you make a valid point. It's almost as if we're not dealing with demons, but rather the Disney villains themselves with demonic powers, and that thought terrifies me.
Agreed. The demons took the forms of the Disney villains because they were what was powering the darkness. It's entirely possible that. What if? Follow me on this. Noah walks over and cues up some information on a screen. Now, notice here, this is the information. Remember, you guys were having some trouble with your forms, Simba and the genie, where the characters, the personalities were beginning to take you over, to control you. What if the same thing is happening to some of the villains? Maybe they are becoming more like the demons are becoming more like the villains they purport to be the longer they parade around in those forms.
David taps his finger on his chin while looking to the side. You know, that sounds very plausible and kind of frightening, actually. This is getting a lot more complicated than it seems when it started out.
It is. However, there could be advantages here, because if they're acting more like the Disney villains, let's be honest, the Disney villains have always been a threat, but they've always had weaknesses. They've always had ways to trick them. They've always been susceptible to the heroes, so that may work to our advantage. I mean, there hasn't yet been a Disney villain that's won. The closest would be Scar himself, who successfully murdered his brother and took over a kingdom, but even that didn't last.
Oh, well, good that we're not up against...
Adrian looks up. Yeah, you guys have a point there. I mean, it's not like we've seen these demons with an off switch, and we do have an off switch, which might be why we're still in control.
That's
Jeff
entirely...
nods.
Yeah, that would make sense. They took the form, but without the technology to basically temper the magic, as it were, it's entirely possible that it's starting to get to them. Now, it's also entirely possible that the more they become like the Disney villains, the more they would inhabit those powers and possibly beyond. It could make them more dangerous, too. It's impossible to really know. Because even when you guys were possessed by the heroes, it made you more dangerous, if unintentionally. Imagine what it could do to them.
Alfred spins around in his chair. Yeah, but even if it makes him stronger, it'd kind of make him more predictable, and that would make him easier, wouldn't it? He continues.
Jeff looks up
spinning
at
his-
Alfred and smiles. That's exactly what I was thinking, kid. Becoming more like a Disney villain probably would make them more predictable than a demon, and that predictability always works in our favor.
Well, we can only hope. It's also interesting to see the variance in the strength of these demons, because we fought Zira, and she was powerful, but it seemed to be only because she was able to control the other lionesses. It was one power that made her strong, but she, in and of herself, was not all that strong. As soon as she lost her lionesses, we overwhelmed her easily. Whereas someone like Hades or Yokai was off the charts. I'm almost wondering if there's some kind of correlation to villain relevance and their power levels, but it would be hard to say.
Yeah, it's not something I'd want to actually test.
It's probably for the better.
Jeff strokes his chin. Well, I've always found that the more powerful a villain is, the harder they are to control. I think that would stand to reason here. Like, take Hades, for instance. No one's going to control Hades. Both Jafar and Scar know this. Hence why they had him on a leash. But he was one of the more powerful ones because he was not able to be controlled.
That's true. They may have realized that there are certain villains that are beyond... They're basically beyond their ability to control, but Scar and Jafar are nothing if not cunning. If they could work out mutually beneficial arrangements, I don't see any reason why the villains wouldn't team up, at least temporarily, if it was to all their individual benefit.
Yeah. Seems like that would be very logical for them.
We're going to have to keep more of an eye on this, and at this point we can only hope that the predictability factor comes in and that our light friends over there see fit to continue aiding us now and again.
If they are going to be more predictable and, are becoming more and more like the Disney villains, we may want to consider thinking more in lines of a counter game. Because if we're now countering more the Disney villain than the demon, all we really have to do now is line up our abilities to counter whatever is being thrown at us.
Technically, in a couple of instances, we already did that. You threw Simba at Zira. Last week, David threw Baymax at... Well, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
True,
So
but don't forget I'm also the same guy that threw a fucking fire-breathing dragon at Hades.
True.
Well, I kind of hope that wouldn't be the only way to do it, because I don't think even among us we have enough to cover everything.
No, we probably don't, so we'd have to try to figure out some combination of abilities to bring together to compensate for where we lack.
Indeed.
The advantage we do have is we do have some variance, and the fact that we can change it up means it would be harder for them to predict what we might throw at them, because if they are becoming more like the Disney villains, they're becoming more likely to defend themselves from their natural nemeses.
Adrian looks up. Not to be a downer, but don't we have a lot of predictability here too? I mean, unless they're really stupid, I would imagine the the demons would have noticed by now. When we go into a fight, we're stuck into one form, which means all they have to do is counter that one form, and we're kind of screwed. Huh?
True. Well, the only thing we can hope is that what we have is enough. Unfortunately, we've been studying the magic a long time, and these watches are advanced. There's a limit to what it can do. I mean, theoretically, we could try to press more forms, but who knows what that could do to us physically. I mean, I wouldn't want any of you to end up like Jacob.
No, I agree. I think one form at a time is probably the way to go. We'll just have to use our advantage that we have. Adrian looks up at Jeff. Oh, what would that be? Jeff grins. We're human. They're not. We can adapt, even if we're stuck to one form.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably our best bet, and thankfully we can do that.
As the team continues their discussion, the alarms go off.
Par for the course.
Essentially, Noah spins around to the comm panel. This one's new. The signal appears to be coming from the Disney's Hollywood Studios park. We haven't encountered much there. There's not a whole lot of character-specific attractions there. A lot of outside of our company movies and things that we have the rights to. Well, I guess all we can do is go and investigate. The other interesting factor is a large portion of that park is closed off. There's construction going on for expansion, so there shouldn't be too many people there, even just employees. So that should be to our advantage. Come on.
Jeff leans back in his chair. I think I'm going to sit this one out. I think maybe, we should give these guys a look at something they haven't seen before in case they are trying to adapt to us.
That's a good idea. All right, Adrian, why don't you come with me? He turns toward the Keith brothers. Which of you would like to join us?
Alfred spins around his chair again. Oh, man. David puts his hand in front of him. It's okay, bro. I got this one. Man. David walks up. It's okay. I'll go with them. We can leave these two here just in case something else arises. I'm kind of worried that they're almost going to draw us away from the base, attacking such an area that doesn't seem very threatening. So I'd feel better if it's just the three of us.
That's a good point. All right, you two stay here. Jeff, you can monitor us on the systems and let us know if anything unusual crops up.
Not a problem. Jeff pulls out his cell phone and walks over to Alfred. Come on, let's do a little poke walk. Jeff fires up Pokemon Go and walks off with Alfred through the base.
Yeah.
Noah blinks for a second, not sure what just happened. All right, whatever, we have work to do. Come on. The other two follow him out of the base. The group head to Disney's Hollywood Studios, entering the park from the north. The area is cordoned off for construction. Can be seen to their right on the western side of the park, indicated by the large walls blocking off those areas. Now let's see. The signal looks like it's coming from over there. That's the old Hollywood stunt show track. I wonder why. Of all things, why would they be over there? It's just like a big empty field where they used to do stunts as part of the show. They closed that attraction down so they'd have room for some of the expansion. He leads Adrian and David on. They approach one of the walls, and David pulls. They approach the walls, and Noah pulls some keys out of his pocket and opens a door in one of the cordoned-off walls and allows them through. Be careful. The two follow him through, and Noah closes and locks the door behind him. So, I'm almost starting to wonder if your theory was right about leaning us out, David, because this is, well, not quite the farthest you can get from our base. That would be the sports complex, but this is still pretty far out.
Adrian smirks and pats Noah on the back. Well, look on the bright side, leader man. At least the ones out here are the three fastest on the team, right?
You're not wrong about that.
Anything happens at the base, we'll be there in a flash. Oh, yeah.
Good thought.
Indeed. The three walk out into the center of what used to be the old Hollywood stunt show attraction. Walls have been erected around it, and a makeshift roof has been assembled over the top to contain the construction area. Some general scaffolding can be seen where new buildings are being assembled and things are being moved around. I don't see anything. Hang on. Noah runs over to the side and flips some switches. Several spotlights near the top of the area flip on, illuminating the area. And that should help a little bit.
David cautiously looks around. That's also pretty big. Hey, there's someone here.
True, but chances are, if they lured us out here, they already know we're here. At least this way we have a chance of seeing what's happening. The three begin searching around, looking for the source of the signal, tracking it with Noah's watch. As they do, they don't notice their shadows reflecting on one of the walls behind them, and a fourth shadow, seemingly on its own, tall and lanky, tiptoeing behind them. I don't know. You would
Whoever
think,
it is, they're really good at hiding. Because I
yeah, you would,
don't see
you would,
anything.
you would think if somebody was gonna jump, Noah turns around and notices the extra shadow. Oh crap! The shadow leaps from the wall, knocking the three down as it swirls around. Ah!
Oh,
Ah! What the heck was that?
That is bad news. The shadow swirls over to the center of the area, where a tall, lanky man wearing purple and a small top hat and several voodoo-looking decorations around his neck stands, a grin on his face. Well, well, well. Looks like we got you out here just in time. You see, I know some of the others have been a little, well, ineffective, but in this case, I'd say you'll find that past, present, and future are about to coalesce upon you. He pulls a deck of cards from behind his back and then begins swirling around him. He waves a hand and the cards fly at the team, seemingly razor sharp as they move fast. Look out!
ah!
Ah,
David
Whoa!
dives to the side as one cuts near his leg. Yeah.
ah. Oh, this is gonna be fun. And I can't wait till I introduce you to my friends on the other side. As he says this, an aura of green magic appears around the room as voodoo demon heads seem to appear around him. Welcome to my domain. He steps forward and a partial skull mask appears over the front of his head.
Adrian crawls over to David. Hymns that he's sang? That can't be good, right?
Oh, it's gonna get way worse than that. This guy's pretty scary.
We did say they were becoming more like the Disney villains. I'd say that's a positive sign on our theory. We may want to get up and do something.
Do we really have a counter to voodoo magic?
All we can do is try. Noah stands up. Well, I only know one who knows a thing or two about magic. Noah pops up the watch, spins into the position, and slams it down. The green tights and feather hat appear on his head. He flies up. All right, Facilier, let's see if you can catch me. The demon heads swirl around, Noah trying to dodge them. He swings his sword at them, but it's to little avail. Ah! Is that supposed to affect my friends? No. You see, this is the part where one of two things happen. He puts a hand up, and the demon head stop for a moment. See, I'm a reasonable man, just like you, so I'm willing to make a deal. You have an opportunity. You see, you haven't seen the half of what we can do yet. So I'm going to give you a chance. Join us. Let us turn your power to our side, and I can make your dreams come true. Anything you want, I can make happen. Let me help you.
David looks at the witch doctor. Your wish-granting powers always come with a price I'm not willing to pay, and I doubt any of us are. He looks at his watch. This seems appropriate somehow. He spins it and slams it down. He gets covered in gray-blue armor with giant wings unfurl, and he now has the armor of Goliath on him.
Not a bad idea. Noah's just spinning around. He flies toward Facilier, but Facilier's shadow pops up, smacking Noah. He teeters to the side, but regains himself in the air before crashing. Ah! I hate that shadow. Cruelly ironic given my form.
Adrian looks around. He fights using shadows, huh?
Yeah, his shadow has a mind of its own. He uses it as a puppet.
So, if you weren't able to have a shadow, would that, stop him?
It's a supernatural shadow. I'm not sure, but it's worth a shot.
Adrian looks down at his watch, shifts to position 1, and slams it down. Blue fur covers his body as his ears grow big and his teeth grow big. You're a voodoo magician, huh? Let's see how you do against science, buddy.
Oh, see, I may believe in the forces of magic, but even I know the true means in which this world works. You see, the true power in this world isn't technology. It's not even magic. It's money. But in lieu of riches right now, I'll settle for magic. He waves his hand as the spirits begin spinning around him.
David takes a defensive stance.
Adrian sighs. All right, here goes nothing. Noah, sorry in advance.
Wait,
Adrian
what?
turns and takes off the other way, spreads his arms, and starts clotheslining pillars and scaffolding, trying to take down the construction site itself around them.
That's not a bad idea.
Ah!
David jumps and glides out of the way. Whoa!
The pillar, as the building begins to fall, suddenly a red aura holds it up. I'm so sorry. I can't let you get away with that now, can I? Jafar is standing nearby, holding out his snake staff, using his magic to support the building.
Adrian skids to a stop next to David. Oh, crap. Things just got worse.
Oh, don't they always?
Yeah, you're telling me. All right. Wait a minute. I wonder if this form... Noah has an idea. He spins around back toward Facilier again. This time, on the way, he flies in front of one of the spotlights intentionally. As he does, his own shadow appears on the wall. It pauses for a second behind him, standing and tapping its foot. I guess the light does work a little bit like I thought. You think you can help me out here? The pan shadow nods, pulling out its own shadow sword and flying at Facilier's shadow. The shadows begin dueling on one of the far walls. Well, that'll take that out of the picture. Now as for you. He flies at Facilier. Whoa! Facilier barely dodges, but his long legs allow him to catch himself spinning around almost acrobatically. So, deposed of my shadow, not a bad move. I am impressed. But you see, my friends aren't so easy to end. Several of the heads fly at Noah. He dodges them as one scrapes the side of his uniform. Ah! These demons are a pain. Gotta think of something.
Adrian taps David on the thigh and points at Noah.
Gotcha. David nods. He reaches over and grabs part of the debris that is not being held up by Jafar and throws a chunk at Dr. Facilier. Dodge this!
Ah! Facilier turns around, suddenly frightened at the piece of debris. He jumps out of the way, but falls down. He sits up on the ground, backing up a bit as he stands. Whew, that was close. But I'm beginning to get a little frustrated.
Adrian turns and runs full tilt at Jafar, leaping into the air, looking like he's going to try to fist him in the face.
Ah! Oh, really? Jafar flies forward out of the way. Stitch misses him, and Jafar lands under the debris that he's still holding up. He pushes his magic forward, and the debris seems to hold itself without his necessary consciousness. Well then, if we're going to do this, let's have some fun. Vasily, I dare say it's nice to finally have a comrade who understands the talents of dark magic properly. Oh, don't you worry, Jafar. I got your back. We're going to take care of this.
Adrian smiles in midair. Gotcha, old man. He balls both his fists very tightly, and as he comes down in front of Jafar, he slams them both into the ground, creating a shockwave headed right at Jafar.
What? Jafar can't react, and the shockwave hits them both, throwing them both into the nearby wall next to where the shadows are fighting. Ah! Oh, that stung. Wait. Noah lands near the ground, out of breath. Wait. They're becoming more like the villains. Vasilier's power. It comes from the demons. He makes deals with them, but they're the ones that wield the power. If I remember, I think he looks at Vasilier and sees a specific brown and red jeweled necklace around his neck. The necklace. That was the last deal he made. It allowed him to transform people, at least temporarily, but it was the final deal. The last straw for the spirits. If we can destroy it, they might turn on him.
You got it,
Adrian's ears
boss.
drooped.
David runs forward, leaps, and glides at Dr. Vasilier, trying to
Adrian's
swipe
ears.
it.
Oh, God.
He successfully swipes the necklace, which flies into the air. Vasilier panics. No, 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 no! He jumps over and manages to grab it at the last second. Oh, no, 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 no. All right. Let's try this. He puts the necklace back around himself.
Adrian's ears droop. Oh, man, if I knew we were going to have to swipe a necklace, I would have used Kasim. Dang.
Noah flies toward Vasilier, sword ready to cut the necklace off his neck. Vasilier dodges, pulling up a plume of green fire. It clips Noah and he crashes into the ground. He gets up. Okay. I feel like that should have burned more. Interesting. He pulls back up and looks at the necklace again. I wonder. He gets back up and flies at Vasilier again. This time dodging the fire plume and grabbing the necklace. As he does, he spins around and tosses it over Jafar's neck. Jafar suddenly turns into Naveen, the prince from Princess and the Frog. What is this? What have you done? He turns yelling at Vasilier. Just take it off. It's only the necklace. It transforms you. Before Jafar can react, Noah drives his shoulder into him. Jafar goes flying backwards. Ah! He flips over, careening onto the ground. He lands on the ground near David and Adrian. All right. I think we might be able to pull this off.
I think so. David runs over and grabs Jafar and throws him toward Adrian. Catch!
Adrian jumps into the air and in one motion grabs the necklace and then punches Jafar square in the face.
Jafar takes the blow and flies backward into Vasilier, both then crashing into the wall. As they land, the necklace snaps off Jafar's neck and turns it back into himself, but both have been temporarily weakened.
Adrian lands.
Well, I don't mean to tell you what to do, Jafar, but perhaps this would be a good time. I dare say you're right. It should have been long enough for him to succeed. What say you? Jafar calls out.
What?
That's right. Suddenly, the hero's three watches begin shorting out.
This is bad. Adrian, in a panic, crushes the necklace in his hand while he still has the super strength of Stitch.
The necklace crushes and some of the demons begin to disappear, but Vasilier still has some power, seemingly being aided by Jafar. the three heroes' forms fall. As they do, they are weakened and fall to their knees.
Ugh.
They look down at their watches, and the same form appears on all three.
What the?
A man with long blonde hair and a long black coat with orange highlights appears. I'm so sorry, users, but it's time for me to make this system a little more perfect. The same form and statement appears on the screens back at headquarters, alerting Jeff to what's going on. The system begins shorting out as Clue's viruses overrun it.
Jeff looks up at the monitor. Oh, shit.
Alfred leaps up out of his seat and stares at it. Oh man. Oh man.
You see, we realized your strength was in your combination. We attacked the magic, he attacks the technology. Now you are ours. To be continued.
I have to admit, did not see that coming.
I know you didn't.
I saw that coming.
He saw that coming. I will say for the record, there was initially going to be two forms hacking the watches, but it seemed like it wasn't necessary. And the other form I was going to use was going to be Turbo/King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph, and it seemed like he would probably have ruined the tone.
Yeah,
So I dropped him at the last minute.
I guess
That's
it's fortuitous that the computer programmer is the one left back at base, huh?
Well, that's the thing. My initial plan was going to be we were going to get shorted out, we were going to get detransformed, and I was going to tell you to get back to the base as much as you can as Facilier and Jafar recharged and took over the park. But since you're already there, it saves a step.
And this is all building because you'll notice he shorted out watches. It's because we've actually secretly designed this so the main villain isn't Scar, it's Toodles.
It's the rabbit
used
from
it.
Alice in Wonderland. He has a pocket watch which is somehow better than ours.
Yeah, and like I typed, no, my medical equipment, I'm not dead. Thanks, just short-circuited my life supply.
Listen, he's taking over. He's not just shutting everything down. Right now, he's focusing on taking over the systems that control our transformations and shutting that down. He probably hasn't gotten everything else yet.
It was nice of him to not go after me first.
I think one thing we could do if Mole is planning to be back by the end of it is because Jacob's in a coma, they don't detect his watch, so his is the only one still working.
What we're planning is for me to wake up and it just all be a dream.
Ah, you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
Oh my god! Richter's Ghostbuster character just stepped out the shower. I've had the last few months have been weird dreams.
Oh, Dallas. Is there anything you can't cure?
We should have also done a mystery.
Yeah, I'll confess.
Clayton shot me. We should have said who shot me and done it as a mystery.
There you go. Yeah,
I'll reference two things. It was the baby.
Yeah, there you go. But let me just ask you guys: do you? Because I think I made the right call. But do you think if after Clue had been in there, I had also had King Candy, would that have killed the entire tone?
Yes.
Yes.
I also think that Turbo would not have been competent enough to pull off this plan, nor would he have been as accommodating, because Clue wants nothing else, if anything, power and to be able to control. And so he would totally go with Scar on this if he got to, control the entire frickin' park.
That is true, and I think
the idea with Turbo would have been Clue would have been manipulating him, i.e. Clue would have been his boss. Therefore, I would stand to reason, for at least my perspective would have been, I wouldn't have minded Turbo, because it would be very Disney-like. Like, you get Hades and you get his stupid comical sidekicks.
Yeah.
You get villain comical sidekicks and Disney stuff. So
I'm
Turbo would have suited.
Yeah, I may bring Turbo in next episode just because the strength Turbo has is that Clue understands the computer from the inside, whereas Turbo was inside a game, but he also understood how the computer actually existed to the users. He was able to straight up manipulate the code.
Yeah.
So that was his advantage. That would have been the advantage, that Clue would have hacked it in and taken over the system, and then once he was in there, Turbo would have started rewriting code to screw us over.
True.
Yeah.
Ah, code, sweet lifeblood of the game.
And now I'm dead.
You're not dead. Relax. We'll figure something out.
I'm dead.
It's a Disney production. No one ever dies.
I know, except for Mufasa. I've been Mufasa'd.
Yeah, but then he appeared in the clouds in the sky, and he was okay, and we were happy.
I will appear in the clouds later on. Jeff, you have forgotten me.
Remember.
What? Wait, you're in the Simba pose right now. That's why you're the only one that can see me. You are the one true king. Also, I ate my sandwich.
It was good.
Yeah, I admit, I was hoping that fight. I was trying to come up with some cooler things that Facilier could do in that fight. I'm gonna try to rewatch Princess and the Frog between now and next week, so I can be a little better with using him.
It's fine, he uses voodoo crap. Just use magic.
Well, that's what I was doing. As soon as a voodoo crap, I had the flying cards because he did all that, and I had the, I did the green magic and stuff that when he does the friends on the other side bit. That was the bit I was incorporating in the building because he was. If you watch that clip on YouTube of him singing the Friends on the Other Side song, that's where he pulls out all the green magic and the voodoo heads and everything.
Also,
I was going to say, yeah.
Also, spoilers for everyone, Facilius isn't actually one of them.
Dun, dun, dun.
He's someone who works at the park and works for Disney, who the cartoon was drawn on in modern society. Thus, he's the reason this whole happened, because he's the one who reached to the other side with those demons and brought them into our world.
Nice.
Fact. Or not.
Yes, as you were saying, Rick.
I was
Yeah,
just going to say, we at Pez of the Mind do not condone rewatching Princess and the Frog.
Fuck you! That's a good movie.
That was a good movie. I like the songs and the art.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
Yeah, the
Disney
songs
film,
were pretty
It's not
decent.
the best, no, but it's good. The 2D art is beautiful. The songs are fun and entertaining. I mean, they're fun and entertaining songs. The villain is great.
The villain's awesome.
Yeah, I will
Although-
say it could be worse. It could be any of the direct-to-DVD sequels,
Oh, God.
excluding Lion King 2 and Cinderella 3, just because that's so fucked up. I love it.
We at
I
Pez
would
of
al-
the
I
Mind do
would
not
also add-
condone even watching those, let alone rewatching.
I would also add Aladdin 3 to that list because that's a pretty good movie.
You need to watch Cinderella 3. It's stupid
It's
Okay.
yeah, it's,
in the
it's
most
already,
enjoyable way because they use
Hang on.
time travel.
I got Chris. You can tell him this once we're off the air. We should probably end this first because we're tangenting.
Yeah, I was just telling him because it's really funny and it's relevant to the recording.
All right, go ahead.
I already did. I mentioned it involves time travel in a Cinderella film.
It does. It's messed up. But anyway, so thank you all for joining us, you guys and those of you at home. And we'll see you next week for part 2 of our 3-part finale this has evolved into. And thanks for watching. Peace.
Also, I noticed which episode you put.